many years. And this time also this webinar, he only initiated with the help of our chairman Sanjay Shyam Agarwal, IBP Vikash, and Sanjay Poddar, Vivek Agarwal. All these people have started. So Sanjeev is right from us. He is our special invitee. Is our committee member also. So I invite Sanjeev to deliberate. Sanjeev, please start your deliberation.
Before speaker starts, I will mute everyone so that we don't get disturbed. And if you have any questions, please write on the chat box so that the speaker can take care of it after the session. Sanjeev, yeah, you can take over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President DT Narendra Bhaiya, Chairman IT Shyam, for actually taking the pain of putting all of this together. Secretary Rajesh Agarwal, and other past presidents and committee members of DTPA. DTPA is a very esteemed institute, we all know, association, which is always taking efforts to, upskill the members. And today, the topic is very relevant. Like though many of us have, gone through the courses of advanced Excel and many other courses, but today's topic is more relevant. I'll tell you why, because the future is of data analytics, and you'll be very happy to know that we have a very interesting speaker just post my session, who is Mr. Deepak Singh, and a very young chartered accountant. But then he's a time bomb, because he is going to actually show you many important opportunities, as well as how we can get started on that, and a few glimpses of how we can actually take the best use of data analytics. But data analytics, today we are definitely, let me divide my session. I'll be given 45 minutes or 40 minutes. And for the first 10 minutes, I'll make you understand actually what data analytics is all about. Like we have heard about it. Many of us know that, it's something on Excel or something like that. What are we going to do with this? We are busy with compliances and so many other stuff. How is data analytics going to be a great future for us? Friends, I can tell you that going forward, even today, entire profession is going to get into data analytics. It's more on analyzing your data and converting that into an information. It's like, you have a huge bunch of data and you want to get that into a single page report. I'll give a very good example. Like if you see the newspaper every day, your eyes catch attention to something which is in a graphical format, which is in a infographical format, which means information in a graphical format, something like this. Once you see something like this, or once you see there are various things trying to cover up in a single format, which shows, what's the percentage growth, the linear graph, the progression graph, we all get attracted to it. But that single graph is saying so many stories. It is like, trying to put up 100-page of financial information into a single picture. That is what the power of data analytics is. And it can be, you can do that in so many places. Every chartered accountant is required to learn this, because every organization tomorrow needs to know how their business is performing. What are the key areas where they need to work upon? What are the KPIs? How their revenue is growing? What are the most profitable areas, or which is the highest contributor? Which one is the highest contributor for revenue? What is, which employee is not very productive? What is the best time when the customer will come in and, grab a burger from me? I think Deepak is going to share this as an example. What's the best time or best hour where I can work on this? So there's so many hundred of different questions. In fact, I've just heard that the cricket match, when it happens, it is again happening through data analytics, wherein the player are being chosen based on their strengths, who is going to be the next bowler. Once a wicket goes out, the next batsman is going to come up, is happening through data analytics, which actually does all the permutation, combination, calculates that who is going to the next bowler, how is the fielding setup, what's the right time, and what is the strength of the balanced batsman. And based on their permutation, they decide which is the best ideal batsman to go. And based on that decision, the captain or the coach decides who to go next. So I'm just giving a very rough example just to make you understand that how data analytics is playing a major role. Now, this data analytics was not new. It has started. I've stolen this slide from Deepak's, PowerPoint, and I always love this slide. So if he used it, don't tell him to use
Your
it.
screen is not shared, I believe.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me see. Thank you so much, Deepak. Let me share this.
Yeah.
Is it shared now?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. So if you see the evolution of data analytics has happened, long back, when we were in the Abacus journey, that's again a way to analyze data. Like, calculator is again a data analytical tool. Like when we are trying to add so many numbers together, we want to get a multiplication of that. We want to do a square root of that. We want to calculate EMI of that. That's again a part of data analytics. We have gone from calculator to financial calculator and then to Excel. Today, my role will be to show you all the advanced features of Excel, which is going to help you in data analytics like macros, power queries, so many other tools which actually helps in data analytics. And beyond that, you have to move into Python, Power BI. All these are visualization tools. When I say what is visualization tool, is basically when you have a bunch of data. Imagine you have a data of all your customers. You have 10,000 customers, or you have 500 employees, or you have the manufacturing data, and you want to convert that entire data into a meaningful information, into information which will help you take decisions. That's where data analytics play a very major role. And the career going forward for all the young members over here is to, start taking active interest into data analytics. You can, start with the first step of learning Excel, going to advanced Excel, from advanced Excel to Power Query, macros, and from there to Power BI, moving ahead to VBA, then to Python and R. So these are the stages you have to go on and on so that you get a very, very comfortable career, because every organization, all the Fortune 500 companies are looking for professionals, the finance professionals who are giving expertise on data analytics. And it's a very, very simple start. You don't need to spend several years to learn this. Just learning these entire tool will take you maximum 2 to 3 months. And in today's 1.5 hour session, we are going to give you an eye opener of what are the possibilities or what are the future behind, which can actually enable you to become a data analytic or data analyst. As I said, the picture is worth 1,000 words. A single picture. You see a single picture. This is a small format of an infographic. It is, where the whole objective of data analytics is that how we can understand the data, process it, extract value from it, visualize it, and communicate it. If you can understand a report, an infographic chart, that is the objective of data analytics, and that can be built through these robust programs. And this is what people are looking for. They don't want, like today when we are working for our US clients, they're not looking for 100-page report or 50 pages internal audit report. They are looking for a 1-minute manager. Today our client are coming back to us and saying, hey, we want a 1-minute manager, which means we want to see the report and get information about the health of our organization in 1 minute. That's the objective. So the challenge is how you can process and communicate the financial health of an organization in just 1 minute, which means in 1 or 2-page report, you want to communicate the whole thing. That's the challenge, and that's what professionals are expected to do going forward. I'll just give you a few examples, like something like this, so that you get a broader idea of what data analytics is all about. These are tools of visualizations, wherein you are not giving them an entire trial balance or a balance sheet. You are trying to show them the health card. Like if you see over here, speedometer is over here, where this is actually showing you a speed wheel of this, just what we see in a car, of how the labor is performing, how the materials are performing, how the entire organization is performing. If it is on a green zone, that means it's going great. If it's on a red zone, it's not going good. So this is how a management wants to see. They don't want to understand the numbers which you want to see. There's a big difference between what we communicate and what the client understand. And that is, this data analysis is a bridge between what we convey and what the client understand. And that's what we need to. This profit and loss, balance sheet, AR, AP, budgets. We do some simple reports. I just give you a visual of that, where you want to compare, year to date, from this year to last year, with the budget, with the graphs. So all these things, are a part of, visualizations. And these are very important tools. Before even that, there are few important scopes which I wanted to cover. Is you can do a lot of automation in internal controls, vendor management, travel and expense management, compliance management, all of these new areas, because we are going to transition ourselves to the new world. If anybody, there are two phases, as I always say in all my presentation, there are two phases which are there. One is a survival mode and one is the reinvention mode. If many of us are thinking that this lockdown has just started, we have spent 21 days, and after 19 days, we are going to go back into where we were, you are wrong. The world is going to change. The expectations are going to change. People are going to look you in a different way. The clients have learned so many things in last 40 days. The transformation has happened. So you have to go back and really think that, hey, what am I going to do next? How am I going to gear up to be future ready? And these are the new tools which you can think of as an option to learn. These are important tools where you can take a quick start on data analytics, visualization. Power BI, it's a product of Office 365, and it is like a drag and drop. Today, when I'm going to show you Power Query, that's a little more extension of Power Query to visualize that into, plot that into graph and charts. I don't know whether Deepak is going to show you a demo of this. Tableau, I think he has a very strong hand on that. So Tableau is another great data analytics software. Clickfolio, ClickView, all of these are important tools and they are making a huge buzz. You can simply, connect to any database, just do some logical, X, Y axis, drag and drop, and all the different charts are available for you. So this was a brief introduction which I wanted to give on data analytics. Let's get started into how Excel can play a role. Like that's the first step, how Excel can play a major role to get started into data analytics. And, I'll not take much detailed Excel training, but a brief on, the one which are yellow, which are part of data analytics filter. So I have another 25 minutes where I'm quickly going to brush you up into all the important Excel tools which are going to help you do data analytics. So filter is again one important tool which helps you not only in doing analysis of data, but in cleaning of data. So once you get a table like this, if you hit Control A to select the entire table and do Alt D FF, or simply those who use mouse can use data filter, you'll see that you can filter out any particular location, whatever you want. Let's say you want Calcutta and you want let's say the office to be at APJ House, you can quickly filter that out. So this is again, see what has happened is from the bunch of data, we wanted to know how many companies are situated in APJ House and in the city Calcutta. So filter is again one of the data analysis tools where we can filter out the data which we want, which means you can select, let's say, even if you don't want these kind of filters, you can clear all these filters and you can simply go here and type in.
Where your Excel is not visible. Sorry to disturb. Your Excel is not visible.
No?
No, Excel is not coming, Sanjeev.
Sorry.
I think you should stop screen share once and again reshare.
Yes, I'll do that. Thanks for telling me. Let me bring this back.
I think you stop sharing and then again reshare it, Sanjeev.
Yeah, I got that. Now you can see it?
Yeah, it's there now.
Yeah, it's visible.
Great. Yeah. So Shyam, if you find any, things which are not there, say me in the beginning because I missed something.
Sure.
Information. So like if you see over here, like you see a file over here, filter is again a very first basic data analytics. It's like a class KG for you, but then that's the first step. So if you have a data file, and I'll just repeat this for the, for those who have not seen it, you select this whole table and you do this data filter, you get the filter. Now, if I want to filter, let's say Calcutta, and I want to filter APJ House, watch here. I can get, all the companies which are in APJ House and in the city Calcutta. This is again data analysis, data analysis basically, I'm trying to extract the data which I want. I extract the information which I want, because I don't want thousands of data. I want the data which I want. So filter can be an important tool for that. Now, if I clear filter from here, and if I just simply type in, all right, I want to know contains meals. Just a text filter. It automatically pulls up, 2 companies which has meals inside them. So this can be an important tool for data analysis. Moving further, text to column, again, I will say is a more of a cleaning tool. I will straight away take you to, because today the session is more on data analytics, I'll take you to the analysis tools where we can do a lot of visualization. You can see the screen, right? Shyam?
Yes, we are able to see.
Okay. Yes. Now what we are going to cover in all of this is all data analytical tools for Excel. The first one is VLOOKUP. Now, why VLOOKUP an important tool? Because what VLOOKUP does is work like an eagle. It actually goes into billions of data. Like if you have a bank audit data, I always give a lot of sessions on how you can do bank audit using Excel and how you can do concurrent audit. So what happens is that you have a bunch of records. You know that if the NPA is this, what are the factors which contributes to an NPA? And if you write those conditions in a VLOOKUP command, it actually pulls up all those account numbers which you want. And you don't want to audit 100, 200, 500 accounts. You just want to audit those 20 accounts and that limit. So you pull up those account number based on certain search criteria, which and then you go back to your manager and say, hey, I want those 20 files which I want to review as a detailed scrutiny. That's the objective of VLOOKUP. I'll just show you a quick example how VLOOKUP operates. Imagine this is your database where you have employee ID, name, gender, and age, and you want to search a name based on the employee ID. What you will do is that you'll call the VLOOKUP command VLOOKUP.
Bhaiya, not visible.
No, it's coming up. Just wait for that. Okay. Sanjeev,
Yeah?
it's okay now.
Great, thanks. All right. So it's VLOOKUP, and I'm actually, the first question which is going to come up is lookup value. What am I looking for? I'm looking for an employee ID. So I'll select the employee ID, comma. My second question which comes up is, from where? That's a table array. And this is my table. So what I will do is that VLOOKUP has a small condition which says that whatever you are searching for, that should be an index column. That should be a first column. You cannot select it from here. If you're searching for name, you should copy and make that as a first column. So the table which you are going to select should always have the column which you're searching for as the index column. Just remember that. That's how the VLOOKUP operates. So since I'm looking for an employee ID, my table will start from here and not from serial number. All right. Since I don't need the serial number for any other purpose, I may ignore that and I take this table. Now the second step, I need to lock this cell, for which I will use F4. Now what F4 does is that if I copy this formula down, the table also moves down. So to prevent that mistake or the error, I need to use lock function, which we can do through F4 VLOOKUP. So once I press F4, it locks my cell, which means this is the table only from where I can copy this formula anywhere, but the table address will not change. My third question is, if you find this employee ID from this table, what is that you want to do? I say I want the name. And name is my second column, not my third column, because my table starts from employee ID. So I'll say 2, I want the name. And my last question is, I want the exact match. I can say false, cap, or I can write 0 also over there. And close this bracket. Enter, it brings up HOPS-PATSI. If you just want to check it over here, yes, it's right, it's HOPS-PATSI. Now, if I copy this formula down, very simple.
Bhaiya, I'm sorry to disturb. You have to do screen sharing once more. I think it's not visible now.
Let me stop share and do it again.
Sanjeev, we have 100 participants now. It's full.
Thank you. All right.
It's visible.
Great. So this is how you can select. If you see over here, this data is not coming up because we don't have this data over here. That's the whole reason why we want this this VLOOKUP to come up. This is the most crucial thing needs to be understood in data analytics is we want to pick up the data what we want based on search criteria, and that's where VLOOKUP plays a major role. Learning index and match. Again, now we are going more and more deeper and more harder. The second thing is index and match. Why index and match? Well, VLOOKUP has their own nakhra, that you have to start from the index column. Whatever you're going to search, that should be your index column. I don't want any of that. What if there is a situation where I have a variable, which is over here, product 1, product 2, product 3, and I have city over here. And for any of this variable, I want the number to come up. If this is the situation, I will use index and match, which means I can filter out any of these and I will get my price. So if I want to get a search based on 2 variables parallelly, and that should be random, how can I do that? So let me write out this formula for you. A little technical, but you can always get on YouTube or Facebook where Shyam is sharing all this, and you can go and do rewind and do it, because we have to justify and try to work out as many things as possible in this. So we'll say equals to index, right? Now, the first question is array, which means this is the table which I have. Take this table and I can lock it, or I may not lock it. Let's lock this out, comma. My second question is row number and column number. So easy. Now, I don't know the row number or the column number. So what I will do is that make it super powerful by using the match function. So I'll say, all right, I don't know the row number and the column number in this because I don't know what will be chosen. If I would have known that my choice is only product 2 and NCR, then I could have told the row number is 11 and the column number is D. But since these are all variables, I need to use match over here. So match. I take the match function, I take the use a match function, which is equal to VLOOKUP function. If you see over here, it is doing the same thing what VLOOKUP has done, which means match lookup value. My first lookup value, I'm looking for cells over here, comma. From where? From this table, simply this table. I'll take this table and then I'll do an exact match for this. Done. I close this bracket and I'll do the same function for the column. All right. My first lookup, I again call the match functions. I'll say my column is the location and comma. This is my variable from this array. I'll take this row as the array, comma, and want an exact match. Boom. Close. I'll close it once more just to enable the formula. I got it. So product 2 NCR. Product 2 NCR is 2,800. Wow. Let's try one more. If I want to do product 4 and I want to change this to Bangalore, it comes to 458. All right, let me check. Product 4 Bangalore 458. Correct. So this is how you can do a two-way search factor of index with match. This is so powerful in Excel. Think about a situation where you have various combination in GST, in income tax, or in your audit process, and you want to use this function. It will allow you to do permutation and combination of 2 variables. That's again a power way to do analysis of data. And let's go to Pivot, which is my favorite subject. This is a tool to do visualization, and we'll do a lot of this today. So imagine a situation. Let me give you first a vision of this. If you imagine a situation where you have a dashboard like this is kind of a visualization tool, and you want to know, all right, show me what's this graph over here. If I just choose cable lock, the entire data changes based on this permutation and combination. If I want to use only cycling cap, it changes. If I want to use cycling cap with Canada only, it changes. So you can make your entire financial data work around with this. And in another 5 minutes, we are going to learn how we can do this. Just, watch this very carefully. So imagine a situation, we have a data like this, which is an employee table. If you can see this, it's a big table of 417 employees. All I'm doing is that I'm selecting Control A, insert pivot table. That's all I'm going to do. New worksheet. Okay. And to make it better, I can configure this to become a drag and drop interface. We see on the right, I hope everyone can see it. We can see all the columns on the right, date of joining, name, salary, division, rating, and age. Now I'll configure this to say pivot table options, display, classic. And this become a drag and drop interface. Now what I can do is that I can simply say division, I bring it over here. I can bring salary over here. Boom. In 2 seconds, you get to know salary by division. Well, If I want to know how many people are working in these divisions and what's the average salary of these divisions, I can simply go over here, make it 3 times, convert this into summarized value. See, all these options are the average. Convert this into summarized value by count. Your report is done. Now you get this report which is saying, hey, in this division, there are 41 people working with an average salary of this. You can always format this the way you want. You go to home. I don't want to go much detail because I wanted to show a lot of things today as much as possible. So I'm just taking a little shortcut over here. And this report is ready. Let me give you a better report with slicers and dashboard. If you want to know the salary, which is in the group of 1 lakh rupees, you copy this salary over here. You get all the salary of all the 417 employees. You want to group that. You'll say, all right, group me from starting from 0 to 9,90,976 and group it by 1 lakh rupees. Okay. It groups that with 0 to, whatever it is. And then you put the division right over here. Great. And you want to put the name over here. Well, this report, if you do it manually, will take you days. And I don't think so you will even be possible for you to do it. If you give this report to your management, to your clients, they will love it. This is the power of data analytics. They will love these reports. And adding to this, if you pull up a pivot chart, let's do a pivot chart, a small little pivot chart for this. Or maybe a pie chart for this. Let's do that. So I'll pull up a pie chart over here. All right. And then what I will do is that I will insert slicer. Boom. And what I will do is I'll call the rating. And now look at the power of this. Now, if you're ready with this, and if you see you have a data which says the salary group by division with the pie chart, and you want to know, all right, there are 470 people in my organization. How many of them are in the age of only 29 years? Boom. I click this, 18 people. I get the graph automated. I get the rating automated. And if I say, all right, show me only with rating 3, boom. I get 4 people with the age of 29 and with the rating 3. This is how you can do so many permutation and combination. You can work with your team, with your client and help in decision making, where you want to configure the GST rate. What if I convert that from 12% to 18%? How my profitability changes, how my entire reasoning changes. So what if analysis, which is the expectation of our clients today, is what you can do through visualization tools like pivot table. So that's the tool of pivot table. Let's move further. I know many of you may come up and say, Sanjeev, you are a bit fast today, but I'm sorry. I have to respect the time of, time and respect the time of my next speaker, which is Deepak, who is going to be much better than what I'm speaking right now. So just stay tuned with me. SumIf. Well, SumIf is again a very important tool wherein you want to know. I need to see if I have SumIf over here. Okay. So if you want, let me call this location over here, Control C, and what is this? Sorry, and Control V. Okay, and if I want to add get me the total matching these 2 conditions. Why this is coming? Matching this is going to give me the total salary. I'll call the request to SumIf function, SumIf S. Now, what's the difference between SumIf and SumIf S? Is SumIf is only based on 1 criteria. But if you have multiple criterias, then you need to use SumIf S. So this is supporting multiple criteria. Now, this has a good formula. And if I don't want to understand this formula, I'll just simply call FX. Now, this helps me a lot. This guides me to the whole tool. It first asks me the sum range. Well, my sum range is starting from here, Control Shift down, because this is the total which I want. But then I don't want the total which is here, so I'll select till 58 and I'll hit F4 just to make sure that my, what is my criteria? My range, which is starting for the GL code, Control Shift down, all right, F4, done. And what is my criteria? My criteria is only this particular payroll GL code. I've selected this. What is my second criteria? The second factor. So you can create multiple factors. which means if you have a huge data file and you have multiple conditions, what if, it is apple and it is red in color and it is 3 years old and it is, sold in this place. If you have multiple conditions like this, and I want to know how many pieces I have for this particular criteria which I have, this is where you can work out. So my second criteria is the location. So I'll take this, Control Shift down, F4. Great. And what's my criteria selection over here? Location 1. That's all I have to do. Okay. Get that answer. But I don't want to prove this, but this is how you can come up with, just with 2 conditions, I got my data which actually, filters out all the service wages, filters out all the location, and then actually get the total of that. If you want to quickly check this out, let me see that 5105, I'll do it with the filter. I'll take location 1. This is what we wanted. And if I add this total, it is coming to the same number, 21,000. Great. If I want to do alt equals to as a subtotal for this, it's 21, same number, which we just did. That's what SUMIF is all about. Moving next. If. So it's all about conditions. What we are trying to do over here is all conditional. Like we have a huge data set and we are trying to do a conditions for this. And based on that condition, we are trying to draw a chart. So what we are trying to do is extracting data what we need based on certain conditions and then trying to plot a graph according to that. So if it's again a data analytical tool where you can again use this analytical function in a scenario that, if my age is 6, 20, 15, I want to categorize, this is the answer, but I want to create this answer again. That if they say that any age between 0 to 17 is a child and 18 and above is an adult, I can write a formula right over here is equals to if. What's this? If is basically you can have a single condition or you can have multiple conditions. The first example is a single condition. If age, which is this, is, what am I going to do is greater than equals to my first condition, 18, right? If this is greater than equals to 18, comma, what is the value of true? It is adult. So I'll type in adult. Wow. Close the bracket. And what's my second thing? What's the value if it is false? It is child. As simple as that. This is a very simple formula. And we can close this bracket. Boom. 6 brings up child. If I copy this formula down, see, it is all coming here. So simple. What if these are 3 categories, 3 conditions? Well, we can even do that. Let's try doing this. If, tab, I'll take the age, comma. Now, what is my first condition? Again, what I will do is that it is saying if B14 is greater than equals to 60. I can do any way I want, but let me do this way. Then what is the result? It is senior citizen, right? Okay, good. Let me write this down for you. Senior citizen, close the bracket. Now what is false? Well, we have 2 conditions here. We know if it is 60 and above, it is going to be senior citizen. But then what if it is less than 60? It falls into 2 conditions. We'll write again one more if command over here, which is a nested if. So we'll say if again. And then I'll say again, we'll call the same function is greater than equals to 18. Or less than equals to 17, what do I want? If I say if this is less than equals to 17, all right? What am I going to do? Child. So this is going to be my child. And the balance left is what? Is adult. So I'll open this bracket again, sorry. Close this bracket, close this and close this. Boom. See, it is just with this multiple condition, I can get all my answers. So it is actually, you can have a various data range with you and you write multiple conditions. If this is this, then bring this rate. If this is following this, this is going to be 18%, 12%, 7%. Based on certain conditions, you can write multiple if commands for this. So this is how you can work out if and nested if for extracting data from a bunch of table. One more exercise on Power Query, and then I will hand over to Deepak to speak further. I have 10 minutes, Shyam.
5 minutes would do, because then we'll have also a Q&A session.
All right, so I'll try and do a single Power Query for you just to show you a very interesting formula. Like if there's a situation wherein you have a, a Power Query. Power Query is a Power Query with Power Pivot is a father of, the pivot which we have just seen right now. Imagine a situation you are producing a monthly report for your client every month, and the same data is happening every month, and you want to produce a report which compiles all the data of all the files. So you have January data, you have February data, but you want the data inside individual files to come up as a single file. But there's no way out there. There's no way out there. How we can do that? Well, with Power Query, it's a great invention. It's actually possible. Let me close all this file and really take you very fast on this. All right, I think my screen has stopped. Let me share it again.
Yes, yes.
Actually, you know what? Why this is happening? Because you are not allowing the speaker to share the desktop.
Huh? I have given you the power of co-host, so everything can be done, I believe.
But the desktop option is not coming. Anyway, let me first open an Excel and then I'll share that screen.
Okay.
Yes. Just 1 second. Data, get data from file. You see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, Control C. So this is my data file, and if I want to copy this, you see this screen as well?
No.
Okay, because it is. Yes, now you will be able to see it. Let me know if you are guys.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what I've done is basically let me cancel this and do it again. I've called get data. I've opened in a blank Excel file and I went into data, get data. And this time I'm trying to copy it from a folder because I have all this file in a folder, and I'll paste the path where I had all the files. Okay. And what I did over here is I have all these files right now over here, and I want to combine all this data together into a single way, all the data inside these files together. So what I'm doing is that I'll hit transform data. If I want to, do any changes over here, it will open up a Power Query editor. This is something which is really important for all of us to learn, Power Query. Now, if you see over here, there's a two small icon over here, which is a very important feature of Power Query, which allows you to combine all the data inside this data of all these individual files. You have 11 months file. I'll click on this combine button and it will automatically load all my data. If you see over here, all the data of all the files. Okay. I don't have time, otherwise I will show you the individual file, the data behind it, and then how it is combining and getting all the data together. So if you see over here, it has actually loaded all the data, and now what I will do is that I will load it to a connections. I don't know why these dots are coming up. And then what I will do is that I think someone is sharing the screen with me, so they are using all these dots.
Just a second. I think only your screen is visible.
Yeah, but I'm not doing all of this. So only create connection. This is where if you want to work on a multiple file, but then right now the objective is to make sure that we create a pivot table report, a pivot chart or a pivot table report. So let me do a pivot table report for this. Okay. That's building up a pivot table report for me. Watch. So what I will do is that I'll simply say I need the grand total for my animal type. So I have all the animal type right now with me, and I have the grand total. So this is my data. If you see over here, though I could have or if I don't use this grand total, if I just want to use the source name, watch over here. So I have this total of all the files, right? You see that? I have the total of all the files. Now, very simply, if I get the next month, and I will say, I'll come back to my workbook. I don't know whether you see this file or not, but let me, without sharing, I'll copy this file. Do you see that? Let me share this. I don't think so. You're seeing my folder right now.
Pardon? Yes.
No, you are not seeing this because every time I have to go and change it. So there is a folder over here. There is a folder which has a December month. Now you can see that, right?
Yes.
So I'll do is I'll simply copy this and paste it into my folder where I had 11 months. Paste. I've done nothing. Now let again share back to my Excel which I was working on. Coming back over here, I share this. This was the Excel, right? We had 11 months file, and all I have done is I've copied the 12th month into that folder. Now if I hit refresh over here, it will bring up back the 12th month without me doing anything. This is the power of Power Query. There's so much to learn on this. In fact, 2-day session can be, can happen only into Power Query. This is just an eye opener which I wanted to do with all of you. Thank you all so much. I think we all are eagerly waiting for Deepak to start his presentation. Before that, if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer that, or I'll be happy to answer at the end as well. Thank you all so much.
It's Sanjeev, I think it's better if we take it at the end so that Deepak and you both can.
Great. Thank you also.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Deepak ji, can you please start?
Yeah, I finished dot at 45 minutes.
Okay, Shyam, can you give me the access for sharing the screen?
Yeah, you can do it. I have made you the co-host, so I think you can do the screen sharing.
Yeah, I know your dil mange mode, Agarwal ji, lekin in the limited time we all have to work together. But you can always go back and see this video, and I think the entire recording is happening. So
yes, this video will be uploaded on the YouTube channel of DTPA. So
Sumit, yes, we need to have the same header. Like the data table remains the same. Yes, Deepak, continue.
So is my screen visible now?
it's a blank screen. Yes, visible.
Yes, yes. So
Deepak, try to be a bit louder because I think the audio voice is.
can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome guys. We have had a very good and enriching session from Sanjeev Bhaiya as usual. And he's an expert in Excel, and he has enlightened us with all the stuffs that we can do with the help of Excel, and all of analytics that are possible with the help of Excel tool. So right now I'll give me a sec.
Deepak, it is not sharing the desktop, so you have to use the application. It's little, I think.
No, it's not desktop. So
we are not able to see anything.
So this is a blank screen that I have shared. Is it okay? Hello.
Yeah, it's a blank screen. So it's okay.
Yeah. So very quickly, I'll ask this question from you guys: that what according to you is a data analytics? And I can you can give your reply in the comment box and or through audio, whatever is possible, and just list down what according to you is data analytics. Shyam, if you can mute some of them.
Just a second. People can raise their hand and then I can unmute because there are 100 participants. So it will be very clumsy. If anybody wants to speak, they can just raise their hand on the reactions box so that I can see and unmute you.
I cannot see the chat window.
It's on the bottom.
But when I'm presenting, I cannot see the chat window.
Yeah, you need to stop screen sharing, then only you will be able to do it.
No, but ideally, it used to be.
Should I read?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Bharat Goyal has answered that to reach data required instantly. Mr. Tejal has answered managing data in a compiled manner.
So first is reach data, right?
Yeah,
Reach data. Okay. What is the second one?
managing data in a compiled manner so as to sort it.
Managing data in a compiled manner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Third is evaluating a group of data or records to derive meaningful or desired results.
Evaluating and
A
then
group of data. Yeah, and
correct and meaningful results, right?
yeah, yeah. Fourth is analysis of data in a summarized format.
Analysis in a
Summarized format.
summarized format. Okay.
Last
That's
is
it. That's it. That's
okay.
it. And so whatever you guys have told about this, about data analytics is somewhat true, but it is just a part of the analytics that you guys have told. So data analytics is not only analyzing the data, bringing in insights, but it's more about that, more about doing predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. And what are those predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics? We'll see. So in a layman's term, what data analytics stands for is, I have my data, last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years data. I analyze that data, I bring in insights from that particular data and provide those insights to my client and to my business organization. Now, many of us will think that analytics work stops there, but that is a part of the work that data analytics usually does. The second half of the analytics part that usually comes is predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. Let us understand what are the different types of analytics that are available and that we can do. So first and foremost, we have something called descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics. Now, your client comes up to you and tells that, hey, look, my sales are going down. You need to do some kind of analytics to understand, to bring in insights about my decrease in sales. Now, what you will do, you will use various analytical tools or business intelligence tools, I can say, to understand my fall in sales, correct? Segment of fall, for example, year in which that particular sale has dropped, or we can say region. Is there any specific region that my sale has fallen down? So these are some of these are basically four analysis, simple analysis that we would be doing. So in order to do this analysis, we are using old data, correct? My previous data. So this particular analysis that we are doing is termed as descriptive analytics, correct? Now we will go to our client and say ki, listen, this particular segment is showing fall in sale, this particular year is showing fall in sale, this particular region, east, west, north or south, is showing fall in sales. Now your client will say, fine, you have given me insights that what has happened, right? What has happened? Now you tell me why my sales have gone down in this particular segment, or in a particular year, or in a particular region. So it's basically a root cause analysis that your client is asking you to do. So that particular analysis, root cause analysis that we do, is termed as diagnostic analytics. Here we are trying to solve or give solution of what has happened. We are trying to determine what has happened, what has actually and already happened. That is, my sales have fallen down. And in this scenario, I am trying to understand and give solution for why it has happened. Why it has happened. Correct. Now we will come up with saying that in a particular region there might be um, entry of some competitor, due to that a particular segment has got reduction in sales, or in a specific year due to some natural calamity, that particular year sale or that particular month sale has gone down. So in diagnostic analytics, when we are trying to find the root cause analysis, we term this as diagnostic analytics. Now we all know clients are never happy. Whatever we give them, they are never happy. They'll say, fine, Deepak, you have told me what has already happened and you have told me why it has happened. Correct. Now you tell me what will happen in next year or next 3 months or next 6 months. When we try to solve that question of what will happen, we term it as predictive analytics. We term it as predictive analytics. And this solves me the query of what will happen. What will happen. Correct. Now I tell them, my client, that look, I have made a predictive model and I ascertain that for the next 3 months, your sale for a particular product, say P1, will be 1000 units. Okay. Now they'll say, okay, you have given me that 1000 units will be my estimated sale for the next 3 months. But obviously clients are never happy. They'll tell how we are going to achieve this. How we are going to achieve this 1000 units of sale in the next 3 months. So what I will do, I will build some statistical model which I term it as prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics. And this will tell me that how will I achieve my future. How will I achieve my future? So there are basically 4 types of analytics that we do in our day in and day out. So generally in 80 to 85% of the organization, they would be doing these 2 analytics. They would be having some people who would be doing this descriptive and diagnostic analytics, or for that matter, internal auditors. Now the people who do this descriptive and diagnostic analytics, we call them as data analyst. We call them as data analyst, and they work with business intelligence tools, BI tools. And what are BI tools? Sanjeev Bhaiya talked about Power BI is a business intelligence tool. Tableau is a business intelligence tool. ClickView is a business intelligence tool. So you need not have an expertise in statistical concepts, in maths, to do these 2 types of analytics. But what if you have to do this predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics? Because these are the 2 analytics which are generally sought by the client. Because जो हो गया वो तो मेरे को पता है, जो होने वाला है is what is more concerning to the client. So for this, you need to have statistical knowledge, you need to have maths understanding, you need to have understanding about programming language. So these tasks, the person who does this task is known as data scientist. He is known as data scientist. So this is a clear distinction between a person who is a data analyst and a person who is a data scientist. So these are basically 4 analytical models, analytical methods that is applied day in and day out to perform your analytics task. So whenever you get a task, you need to understand whether it's a descriptive analytics, or diagnostic analytics or predictive analytics or prescriptive analytics, then only you will be in a better position to do your analysis and come up with a more beautiful and insightful reports to your client. Now let us move to our new topic. The next thing that I'll be taking you through is what is artificial intelligence, because our topic here today is Excel to artificial intelligence. Excel Bhaiya took very nicely. Now let us discuss what is artificial intelligence. So what is the most important thing that basically differentiates us human beings from other living things on this planet Earth? Can you guys tell me? Sham, if you can read through some of the comments that are coming up.
Yeah. You can repeat the question once more so that
The question is why we as human being, as Homo sapiens, are superior to other animals, other creatures on this planet Earth. Why are we superior?
okay, the first answer is cognitive thinking.
The first answer is cognitive thinking.
Second
Okay.
second is intelligence and adaptability.
Intelligence and adaptability. Okay.
Third is power to think and analyze.
Power to think
Think. Yeah. Fourth is power to choose.
and analyze. That's it. So now you understand that why are we superior? We have this power of thinking. We have this power of thinking with us. This basically differentiates us human beings with other creatures. Now, what is, I think somebody is doing some snappy thing, that is why these green lines are coming up. Never mind. So now what is artificial intelligence? Now scientists, computer scientists, people, they think, look, what if we infuse this power of thinking into machines? What if we infuse this power of thinking into machines? And they came up with an idea and concept known as AI, which is artificial intelligence. Now we are incorporating, which is something called human intelligence into machine artificially. That is why it is called artificial intelligence. Now obviously machine does not have the power to think on its own. It has to do on the basis of codes and algorithms that we provide to machine. So what are these codes basically which we provide to machine in order to think it to be in a more rational way and a human way? So the algorithms that we provide are nothing but called as machine learning. We call it as machine learning. These are basically the algorithms through which we give power to my machine so that it gets to start thinking rationally, enables it to think just like a human does. Now computer scientists, people, they thought that this machine learning algorithms that they are using, they are not in 100% way giving power to machine to think in a much more human way. So there was some limitations, there was some operational inefficiency due to which this was not being achieved. So they developed something called deep learning. They developed something called deep learning. And what is this deep learning basically? This deep learning is basically mimicking our human brain. Now let us take a small example. This is basically a picture. Now how does my mind recognizes that this is a picture? This particular picture obviously emits light, and this particular light reaches our eye, and behind our eye there are something called neurons. There are something called neurons which are available. So these particular lights get passed to my neurons, various neurons. There are n number of neurons available, and finally they go to my brain. They go to my brain, and then brain gives an output that this particular picture that you are saying, this particular object that you are saying is basically a picture. So we have the concept of neurons and perceptrons in this deep learning. So this particular task which is being done by my brain is what was transformed into algorithms and fed into my machine, and that was called as deep learning. So artificial intelligence is nothing but giving power to your machine so as to think it like a human being. How it does it, how my machine will start thinking like a human being? Obviously it does not have its own brain, so it will use the algorithms, the models that we provide, and that are called machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms. So this is basically a distinction between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Nowadays all these three terms are used interchangeably, but there is a whole lot of difference between these three topics and these three terminologies. Now let me quickly go through an Excel sheet. My screen is visible, Shyam, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Now, what if, now Bhaiya said that we will do all sort of analysis. We will do pivot charts. We will use slicer and dicer. You use graphs and visualization techniques to understand and bring in more insights. But
Deepak, we can stop screen sharing and reshare once. Excel is not visible now.
One sec. I've stopped. Is it visible?
Just a second. Yes, now it's visible.
Now the problem, Shyam, here is whenever we share a screen, there is an option called share screen one that usually pops up in Zoom. But in here, that share screen one is not enabled. That is why every time whenever there is a change in application, we have to stop sharing and then go and do a reshare again.
Yeah, I told you the same thing. We have to recheck on that.
So what, if anything, can be done now?
No, it's fine. I mean, we can continue with this. Whenever I need, I'll swap the application. I'll stop sharing and reshare again. So
Okay.
Bhaiya said that, okay, we will do all sort of analysis, pivot, slicer, dicer. But the most important thing that I keep saying to my clients and wherever I go and take lectures and session is, you can learn analytics, you can learn tool, you can learn programming language, but you have to have this analytical mindset. But somehow if we are too lazy to have that analytical mindset with us and say, okay, I'll not do brainstorming, I'll not list down 50 or 100 odd analytics that we can perform in a data set. So what option do I have? So I have whole lot of option. Let me start with Excel, the basic Excel. So this is a small data that I have downloaded from website, Microsoft website. Now we go to home, and you see right here there is something called ideas, right? Everyone can see, right? Ideas. Yeah. Excel right top that I'm moving the cursor.
Yes.
Correct. Now this idea was incorporated by Microsoft in order to compete in the field of analytics. And what does this idea do? I'm very lazy to list down and do n number of analytics. So what will I do? I'll simply click this idea, and let's see what does this idea button does. You can see analyzing your data. It's basically analyzing your data, and after analysis it will give you results. And this is the power of artificial intelligence that has been infused in various tools and techniques. Now you have your analysis right here. So these are the analysis that are available. So show all 35 results. So by default here we have 35 analysis based on my data that has got populated. If I want to see all 35 results, it is all here. It is all here. So you need not go and brood your head thinking, what analysis should I do? I have this data, but I don't know where to start from, what analysis I need to do. You simply go click this idea button, and you have this machine learning algorithm, artificial intelligence infused in your Excel, which will analyze your data and give the analysis results here with the help of charts. Now suppose you want to insert pivot for this particular chart. Let me see this chart, okay, and you click insert pivot view. Now you have the data which was used, basically the condensed and accumulated data which was used to create this particular chart. Okay, so this is the beauty of this idea section that is available. Now I talked about machine learning and artificial intelligence. How does machine learning works? It basically learns itself. उसको अपने को बताना नहीं है कि ये तेरे को याद करना है, ये तेरे को याद नहीं करना. It usually learns itself. Now in this case, how will it learn itself? Now here we have something called, is this helpful? Now is this helpful? If you click yes, it will store your response in its memory and keep in its mind that if I get some data like this, I will create this particular sort of result because my user had told yes, it was useful. Now if I click no, it will remove this particular analysis from this particular data set, and after 6 months or 1 year, after lot of this, if you keep on doing no, the machine, the AI capabilities that is infused in this Excel will learn on its own which data to pick, which analysis to perform, and which graph to show it to you. So this is the power of analysis. This is the power of ideas that has got infused in Excel. Understood, guys? Now this is simple Excel. What if I want to see whether such things are happening in my Power BI? Now again, Power BI is a very advanced tool from Microsoft, which is basically leader in business intelligence. It took over Tableau in last couple of months because Microsoft is investing a lot in their AI capabilities, which is not the case in case of Tableau. So let me quickly take you guys through that AI capabilities in Power BI. So I'll stop sharing this screen. I hope this particular section is clear. I'll stop sharing this screen and I will start the other screen, which is my Power BI desktop. Now this is basically a demo data that I had created. This was actual task which I performed for one of my client, insurance client based out of Israel, and I have tweaked in the data so as to not to breach the confidentiality clause. Now these are some of the results that we can populate, we can visualize, we can bring in insights. Sanjeev Bhaiya took us through that Power BI Power Query mode. After you save that particular Power Query, you come up with something like, here it will be entirely blank, and right side you will be having your fields, basically the column names, and it's basically a drag and drop scenario, nothing else. And it gives you a wonderful chart. It gives you a wonderful chart to present your data to your client and visualize your data in a much better way. Suppose you want to find a correlation between marketing spend and sales. The example which I took. Now you predict that next year my sale will be 1,000, but your client comes up and say, hey, tell me how can I increase that particular sales to 1,000. Now you will go and analyze the correlation between the sale value and various parameters and come up with this sort of correlation. Here the topic is something different, but I can obviously use this kind of scatter plots to demonstrate the correlation between two variables. So for example, how much my sales would increase if I increase the marketing spend. Now my marketing spends, I have 3 or 4 different types of marketing spends. One is through social media, one is print media, one direct reaching out to my customer. These are several avenues through which you can do marketing. So you drill down and see the correlation between these variables with sales and go to your client and say, hey, look, there is a very strong correlation between my social media and sales value. So I suggest that we start investing more in social media campaigns so that my sales gets increased. So this is a small example in this Power BI. Now we see what are my AI capabilities in this Power BI. Now let me scroll through. Let me scroll through, guys. The system is little slow since I am running a predictive model in my system, but I think it will be up and running in a couple of minutes. Yeah. Now here, Power BI, they have come up something called AI in Power BI. It's a very cool term, artificial intelligence in Power BI. They have something called Q&A. When you click this Q&A, you have something like this opening up in your Power BI screen. Now, what if you don't want to drag and drop and just put in a natural language which my system understands? Correct. These are some of the questions that my system has got pre-populated for me. But what if I want to say, okay, let me analyze what would be my total damage by agent ID. Correct. Now as soon as I type this is a natural language English language that I have typed in. As soon as I write this particular word, you have this graph automatically populated in your Power BI, which says, hey, look, agent ID whose number starts with 6010 has got maximum number of total damage against it. This is the beauty of artificial intelligence that has been infused in your analytics. Now let's see another thing. We have this region. Now I want to see what would be my total damage by region. So I have these 7 regions in my data set. Now it has given me, okay, Israel Central District, I'll have this much total damage, which is 191 million. This is the beauty of Power BI Q&A. It's basically uses the concept of natural language processing. And what is this natural language processing? I guess everyone would have heard about Siri. Everyone would have heard about Alexa. They use that concept of natural language processing, the way we talk naturally, and what the algorithms that are present in these products, they decode those natural languages and give you this output. So this particular Q&A section by Power BI is doing the same thing. Correct. Now I'll quickly, since there's lack of time, there's 10 minutes left. What if now, so this is a very cool online product that I came about few days back and have started using it. I guess all of us would have done internal audit of any company, small or big, and they would be having something called, advertisement expenses. Now generally in that advertisement expenses, when you get when the client gets the bill from the advertisement company, they basically attach supportings in that in those invoices, and the supportings are basically in the form of images, the events that they have conducted, the hoardings they have used to various places. Those images, those pictures are used as a supportings in the invoices that we generally get from our advertisement company. Now many a times, I was part of a forensic audit in ENY, and many a times we have witnessed that for 3 or 4 different month invoices we had got same or almost same images with us. Now that was actually a fraud, because the event happened just once and the photographs were taken from various angles, and it was used, the various photographs was used to raise the invoice for 4 different months. It's basically a fraud. So how you can do that? So in my artificial intelligence and in my machine learning, there is something called object detection or picture analytics or object analytics, which we call it. So let us see with a very small example here. Obviously there is whole lot of models and codes and algorithms that basically goes behind this, but this particular platform has come up, it's basically built by Google, and they have come up with a very specific and very clean version of this object detection, which, if you don't know algorithm, you don't know machine learning model to the extent you're not an expert, but still you can do it. Let's see how this particular thing works. Now these are basically 2 sections I have created. I have downloaded some images of car and some images of aeroplane, right? Let us upload it once again. I have this car. I'll select all of this and open. So all this 6 images have been uploaded. Now I go and upload aeroplane images. Again, I have downloaded it from.
Screen sharing needs to be done again.
Okay. Let me.
In the meantime, Deepak, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
This is Kamal Bagrodia. Huh?
Kamal.
The Power BI desktop is better or Power BI Pro is better?
So Power BI desktop is a free version. It has got all the functionalities and features that you can work with. The only advantage with Power BI Pro is whenever you are in a large organization and you want to share your result with your team so that they can also start working on that particular project. So it's basically a collaborative environment that you are creating. So that can be done with the help of Power BI Pro or Premium. It's not available for a desktop version. If you are standalone, if you're doing standalone analysis, Power BI desktop is the best. It's free of cost. Initially, if you want to get some more functionality, some added add-ins, so the cost is around 600 INR or 700 INR per month, which is very low. But 95% of your tasks will get completed and executed with the help of free version, the desktop version that you have. So now my screen is
multi-user.
Yeah,
Pro is the multi-user version.
Yeah, Pro is the multi-user version, and you have the capability of sharing your insights and everything to your colleagues. So this is the Google platform that I was talking about, wherein that particular fraud of advertisement thing gets decoded. I have done a lot of those things here, but due to this confidentiality, I'm just demonstrating how this thing works. You can upload your data and see how this prediction works. Now I have my car data. So this is the car pictures that I got downloaded, and this is the aeroplane one which I got downloaded from website. Now how my predictive modeling and how this work is, you feed your machine with lot of data so that it trains on those particular data and it becomes more robust, so that future may whatever thing you are giving it to him to predict, it predicts in a much efficient and much accurate way. Now I have uploaded all my images, car and aeroplane. In our advertisement example, what we'll do, suppose my advertisement happened in the month of January, so I'll just click in here January, right? And I'll click, I'll not change in here, since if my model will break. So car, here we'll write January advertisement thing, and here you will write, so if the other advertisement event took place in the month of March, so you'll put March here and upload all the March ka pictures here and all those January ka picture here. So after the uploading these pictures, you will train the model. So now what my model is doing, see, it's preparing training data. That means basis the data that I have given it to him, see, now it's training on that particular data. It's analyzing the pictures, the shape and size, the pixels, and it is giving me, it has created a model. Now let me check whether the model that is created is accurate or not. Okay, so that was my training data which I used. Now I will use another data which is my test data. See, I have written car test and aeroplane test, and my train images were in aeroplane train and car train. Okay, so I will give an image which is totally different from the ones that I have used for the purpose of training, and see whether my machine, with the help of artificial intelligence, with the help of deep learning algorithms, is able to predict accurately. Now if I click this car, can you see here, it's 100% showing that this image, particular image that you have uploaded, is a car. So you have 100% in car section, but you have 0 in aeroplane. Let's see कि अपने aeroplane को सही तरीके से predict करता है क्या. So aeroplane test. Now let's see aeroplane 100%. So जनवरी में आपके पास इमेजेस आ गए हैं, आपने अपलोड कर दिया. मार्च में इमेजेस आ गए हैं, आपने अपलोड कर दिया. मॉडल को ट्रेन कर दिया. ठीक है, ट्रेन करने के बाद आपके पास मई में कोई एक पिक्चर इमेज आता है, उसको आप यहाँ पे अपलोड कर दीजिए. यू सिंपली अपलोड द पिक्चर हियर, एंड this particular section will obviously, if there is any probability and the percentage, if say suppose 60% of the image which we have received as a supporting in the month of say May or June December to January का, जनवरी वाले सेक्शन में 60% आ जाएगा, और अगर वो मार्च वाले सेक्शन से भी मिलता है तो मार्च वाले में भी उतना परसेंटेज वो आ जाएगा. नाउ वी हैव ऑल दिस 3 डेटा. हम लोग वो तीनों इमेजेस को अपने रियल लाइफ में देख लेंगे और अपने एडवर्टाइजमेंट एजेंसी को बोलेंगे, देखो भाई आपने जो ये डेटा निकाला है ना, तो ये तो 60% मेरे को सिमिलर दिख रहा है, बट आपने बिल जो है वो अलग अलग महीने का इशू किया है, तो ये तो भैया सरासर फ्रॉड है. सो अ सिंपल एग्जांपल how you can use image analytics, artificial intelligence to do your analytics. And remember guys, analytics is not restricted with numbers, not restricted with numbers. I know we as a CA are very good in numbers और अपने business समझने में expert हैं. And the now Sanjeev Bhaiya usually keeps on telling we have to move from compliance to reliance wala part. And how we can get that reliance wala part? If we are able to increase the top line of any organization. अपने जितना client से फीस मांगेंगे, they will provide us. Trust me, they will provide us. और click of a button में काम होता है, जो भैया हमेशा बोलते रहते हैं. Suppose इस केस में से suppose ये जीरो से जो यहाँ जो फॉल्ट ड्रॉप हुआ है, आई नीड टू एनालाइज कि भैया ये ड्रॉप हुआ क्यों है. सो इसको अपने सिलेक्ट करेंगे, राइट क्लिक एंड एनालाइज में एक्सप्लेन दे समथिंग ऑन एक्सप्लेन द डिक्रीज. तो जैसे ही हम लोग एक्सप्लेन द डिक्रीज क्लिक करते हैं, नाउ माय पावर बीआई हैज गॉट दिस कैपेबिलिटी ऑफ एआई. वो अपने से वो एनालाइज करता है कि व्हाट हैज लेड टू दैट पर्टिकुलर decrease in that particular month, and see all these beautiful charts along with explanation has come to you explaining why there was decrease in that particular one. I think the screen is not visible, right?
Yes.
Let me share screen as very quickly. अपने इसको बहुत जल्दी खत्म करेंगे. So यहाँ पे पावर बीआई में ये अपने पास एक डेटा है. नाउ आई वांट टू सी कि व्हाई फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर देयर इज अ डिक्रीज. नाउ आई टू एनालाइज इट. तो भैया अपने को क्या करना पड़ेगा? आई नीड टू गो इन माय डेटा, फिल्टर इट एंड सब नंबर क्रंचिंग करके देखेंगे. एंड नंबर ऑब्वियसली when it's 10 line items, 1000 line items, it's very easy, very good looking, but when it goes to 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 1 million data, it's very boring and it's very tiresome. So यहाँ पे अपने right click करेंगे and there is option called analyze and explain the difference. Once you click this explain the difference, what reason, what has led to this decrease will be auto populated by Power BI with the help of artificial intelligence capability that has been infused in this Power BI. ठीक है. बट अपने को क्लाइंट को ये तुरंत जैसे क्लिक किए, राइट क्लिक आया, ये सब आ गया, कॉपी पेस्ट करके नहीं देना है. इसको 10 दिन के बाद देना है. अपने क्लाइंट को दिखाएंगे ना कि वी हैव डन लॉट ऑफ वर्क ऑन दिस. इफ यू सिंपली डू अ राइट क्लिक एंड ये रिपोर्ट निकाल के दिखा देंगे इंस्टेंटली 5 मिनट में, बोलेगा भाई तुमने तो काम ही नहीं किया है. So my advice is whenever we have this kind of results, we give to our client these insights after 4 days, 5 days, 6 days to see अच्छा काम हुआ है, and then you can justify your fees or your compensation. But the thing is, my agenda today was how this artificial intelligence is able to simplify your work, to simplify and create value addition in your work as a CA or as any other consultancy work that you provide. So I think that's it from my side. I am more than happy to take your queries.
Yeah, thank you, Deepak. So Sanjeev Bhaiya can also join in, and we can take the question from the chat box if possible.
I think Deepak, it was a wonderful session and a very eye opener. ये देखने के बाद Excel की कोई रोल ही नहीं आती है. I think it's much beyond Excel. So it's a great way moving forward.
Both have different use, Bhaiya. Both have different uses.
Yeah, definitely.
So if anybody wants to raise a question, they can just put in, or they can raise their hand. I will unmute them. Deepak, people were asking that Ideas application, is that available in all Microsoft
No.
Office?
No, it's available only in Office 365, but Microsoft, they are trying to, so obviously in the licensed version, they are trying to infuse it into other Office products, not only Office 365. That will happen eventually, but it's available in Office 365 right away.
Okay. So, anybody else?
Jain has raised his hand, so you can unmute him.
Yeah, Vipul.
Sanjeev Bhaiya, hi, this is Vipul Jain from Guwahati.
Hi, Vipul.
Hi, sir. Sir, in regards to your last point which you touched upon, वो जो Power Query वाला part था, उसमें I had a query. In case you have multiple files with multiple tabs, and each tab having data in different arrays of column heads, then am I first required to arrange those and then pull it into Power Query, or will Power Query do that for me?
So in Power Query, if you see, that was a real quick demo which I showed you, but there are two options of tables and sheets. So you have data in one Excel file with multiple sheets, then you use sheets and try to combine all the data from all those sheets into a table. And then if you have multiple files matching those tables, you can again perform the second activity on that.
Acha. So in case if I have one of, for example, two files with two tabs, and column number one in one tab is the name, and column number one in the second tab is names with an S. So Power Query will still take it as two different columns, right? It will not add it automatically.
Yes, yes. And like this is more, this example was very good. Like if you have the same report which you are generating for every month or every week, or if it's the same data and you want to compile all the data into a single file. I think that is
Sanjeev, if I am
Understood.
not wrong, I think the columns and all these things must be similar, very similar.
Yes.
It will be quite easier if you use that Power Query. If all the columns are similar.
No, if it is not similar, what will happen? Let's say you have two files with first file having column 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second file having column 3, 4 is there common, but then 5, 6 is there. A combined will have 6 columns.
Right.
Yeah, combined will it have 6 columns? Yes.
Understood.
People
Thank
correct
you.
me if I'm wrong.
Bhaiya, I'm very much novice in this Power BI Power Query thing, but yeah, you have whole lot of functionality in this Power Query. I mean how much I have worked on. You can do anything in there, and combining and reshaping your columns, everything can be done pretty
So
easily.
combining, basically the logic behind is that whatever data you had combines that. So it is not eliminating any of your data. If you have different columns also, that will also get combined.
Understood. समझ गया. GPM.
So there's a query from Sumit Bihani. For Power Query, do we need to have the same header?
Again, you don't need to have same headers. It is if you want to save your time, if you have different headers, it will come up as different files. It will not combine them. Then you have to go back, transform data, and actually map them to make sure that those two columns are one. Like there is an option in Manage Queries where you map one data with another data, which means you will bring both the tables together and then you go into a diagram view. There is an option called diagram view where both the tables gets open and you map one column with another column to tell Excel that this column, though it has a different header, is actually matched with this header. That way you can match it.
Okay. Another query from Mr. Sandeep. How can we use macro for GSTR two-way reconciliation?
So macro is basically not a tool, it is just a recorder. Macro is basically whatever function you do, it just replicates the steps. So you can do macro for anything what you want. Basically, if you are, let's say you open in Excel and you type in or you do 10 different steps and record that as a macro, and then you stop that, it will run that same step automatically by Excel for all those 10 steps. So if you are doing a GSTR2 automatically yourself manually and you record that, you can run that macro into a different system.
Okay.
Plenty of videos.
Vipul wants to ask another question. Just a second.
Yes, Vipul. I think people, nobody scares to talk to you. Nobody scares to.
Vipul? Vipul,
Yes,
are you there?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So this question is for both the gentlemen, Sanjeevya and Deepak. And this might actually sound quite funny, but since we're talking about machine learning, my question is how do we make sure that the system learns correctly? Because what might so happen is कि कितनी बार क्या होता है, we start putting in data and we start teaching the system that this is what I want, this is what I don't want. For example, the way we said yes, this is helpful, and the system starts learning कि हाँ ये helpful है, and it'll keep throwing that data. But over the time, if I realize कि मैंने एक mistake कर दिया है and I've trained the system wrongly, how do I correct that? After having punched in 12 months of data, 13th month का data में मुझे mistake पकड़ में आया है, how do I correct it? How do I make the system unlearn it?
This question is for you, I guess.
Yes. So I'll take this question. So machine learning algorithms, you have n number of machine learning algorithms through which my machine learns. Here you said how it will unlearn. So 12 महीने हमने ठीक किया, but 13th time I went in and incorporated a incorrect thing.
No,
So
Deepak, ulta. 12 महीने हमने गलत किया, and 13th month में we realized that we have been making a mistake all this while, and now I want to correct it.
करेक्ट. सो आपका जो मशीन लर्निंग एल्गोरिदम में आपको फिर से अपना लेबलिंग चेंज करना पड़ेगा. और आप, so this is basically the back end, the only the front end which has been given to you, correct. Now when you start coding, so so all this machine learning coding is happening through Python. So when you have done this 1 to 12 incorrect, so obviously system will feel the 12 visualization was not helpful for you. Now as a front end user, you cannot go and change that particular logic, since you have got only the visibility access and yes no ka access. It's basically the backend people, the coders who have got those accessibility to change the logic. So in that case, my system will obviously give me an incorrect result. As a user, you cannot change it, but as a coder, now you have seen ki 12 months have done incorrectly. So in your organization, you have someone who does coding stuff. So you reach up to him and say ki, okay, this 12 months incorrectly I have done. So there simple one exclamation marks he will put in your code, okay, and that one exclamation mark will convert your entire 12 months ka no into yes, and 13 month jo basically aapne yes dala hai usko no basically. So that has to be done by the coder and not by the user basically.
देखो तो क्या ब्रेकिंग न्यूज है.
Vipul. Hello.
Yeah, do we have any other questions?
Vipul has disconnected. Okay. There is one more related to that GSTR2A. In case of GSTR2A recon, the number of rows change every month. In that case, will macro help?
I don't think so. Macro is for repeated steps. But then I think the better way is there are two things I can share with you. There is a faculty called Mr. Venugopal. He has got several YouTube videos. If you go and type in Venugopal and GST reconciliation, he actually done a lot of power queries and with the help of macros, he has reconciled all the GST related activities. I request DTPA office bearers to organize a session specifically on how we can automate GST, and if required, we can invite Mr. Venugopal from Bangalore to take a session on GST.
Definitely, Sanjeev bhai.
Okay. So if there are any more queries, Sanjay Bhaiya, can you conclude, please? Sanjay Poddar ji.
We can have Rajesh Bhaiya, secretary, to conclude.
Rajesh Bhaiya, please.
Yes. Good
Shyam,
evening to everyone.
Shyam, let me be given the opportunity to conclude.
Yes.
Before our honorable secretary comes to give the vote of thanks.
Yes, Kamal Bhaiya.
Sanjeev, first of all, it's a great show. In the 45 minutes, I think you have touched upon those important things which are really helpful nowadays. Actually, they are very helpful. The problem is that how we can co-organize or how we can